What is up, everybody? This is Seth Keeping It Real. Today I'm going to answer the 24 most important questions about sales tax. We collected this data from all the people asking the questions, help me understand it, and I want to make sure you understand it so you don't have fear when it comes to selling on Amazon or anywhere online, and so that you have a really strong foundation, because things we fear tend to be things that we don't understand. I'm gonna give you exactly what you need so you can move forward with confidence. And by the way, make sure you like this video if it was helpful to you. First question, what is sales tax? Sales tax is when the local government collects tax on the sale of a product. The tax is a percentage of the total cost of the product, and if the product is shipped, some states collect tax on the shipping as well. For example, when you buy a new jet ski, you don't just pay the $1,200, you pay a tax on that product that the retailer collects from you. The store, whom you paid, in turn takes that sales tax and pays it to the local government, which is used to fund schools, roads, fire departments, things like that. In Europe, they call this VAT, VAT, value added tax. Well, in the good old US of A, we call it sales tax. Next question, how does sales tax work for an online remote seller? First, you register your business with the states where you have NEXUS. Second, taxes are collected at the point of sale. Make sure you collect them. Most online platforms like Amazon collect them for you. Third, file your tax report and pay sales tax due to each state. Usually, these filings have to be done on a monthly or quarterly basis. Next question, well, what is a remote seller? A remote seller is someone whose business is located in one state, but they are shipping products to customers in another state. If you sell on Amazon, you are definitely a remote seller. Next question, how is sales tax different from income tax? Sales tax is a taxation of products being sold paid by the consumer who bought it. Income tax is a taxation of one's income paid by the wage earner who earned it. Which states do not collect sales tax? 5 states do not collect sales tax for remote sellers: Alaska, Delaware, Montana, New Hampshire, and Oregon. Keep in mind, Alaska does have sales tax, but only locally, not on a statewide level. Does Amazon collect and remit sales tax for me? The answer is yes. And of the 45 states that have state sales tax, Amazon collects sales tax for 41 of those states, currently, as of the time of this video, leaving 4 states untouched: Florida, Kansas, Missouri, and Tennessee. And by the time you watch this video, it may be Amazon now collects for those states as well, which is a good thing. Yes, the day will likely come when Amazon collects and remits taxes for every state that has sales tax. Amazon does this currently for 41 out of the 50 states, but there's an important note. Amazon collecting and remitting sales tax for you does not mean you don't have to register as a seller with the state where you have NEXUS, which I'll explain in a minute. You must register with the state and file a monthly or quarterly, sometimes annually, tax return, even if no taxes are owed. At the end of this video, I'll provide you with a US sales tax cheat sheet that you can get. It's super low cost, and it has answers to all the questions for all the states that are relevant to this topic. When setting up a state for tax collection in Seller Central, where do I get my state tax registration number from? You receive this number when you register as a seller in that state. Some states call it different names. For example, Florida calls it the Florida Business Partner ID. I know it sounds totally different, but it's true. When adding a state to my tax collection in Seller Central, which PTC or product tax codes do I choose? Amazon's PTC, also known as the product tax code, is very intuitive. What you do is you see if you can find your product type. For example, if you're selling general clothing, then you would naturally choose A_CLTH_GEN. If you're selling health cosmetics type products, then you would naturally select a health cosmetic code. If you cannot find a code for your category, then select AGEN tax. It stands for general tax. The vast majority of all goods sold on Amazon come under this category. For the states that Amazon collects and remits sales tax, do I still have to file sales tax reports? Yes, you absolutely do. Even if Amazon already collected the sales tax from the customer and paid it to the state, you still have to file on a monthly, quarterly, or annual basis, depending on the state, even if no taxes are owed. You would just put it in as 0. How do I know if I'm supposed to collect and remit sales tax for a state? You only have to collect and remit sales tax for a state if you have nexus in that state. How do I know if I have nexus in a state? Nexus means presence. It means you have a connection to that state. And there are two kinds of nexus. There's physical and there's economic. What is physical nexus? Physical nexus means that your business has a physical presence in that state. It's easy to find out. Just see if any of the following are true for you. I run my business in this state. I have a satellite office in this state. I have an employee or contractor who worked a minimum of 2 days of the year in that state. I have a warehouse in this state. I have products stored in an Amazon fulfillment center in that state. For every state that you answered yes to for those questions, you have physical nexus in that state. What is economic or economical nexus? Economic nexus means that your business has an economical presence in that state. When you reach a threshold of sales for a state, you now have economic nexus in the state. Now, each state has different thresholds, but the majority of them use a threshold of 100,000 in annual sales or 200 transactions for products shipped to that state annually. And I'm just talking about sales to that state. We created a full-on US sales tax cheat sheet that shows you the sales threshold for every state. I'll share it with you at the end of this video and show you how you can get it. When am I responsible to collect and remit sales tax? When you have nexus in that state and you ship products to customers in that state. Do I have to collect sales tax for the state from which I am shipping the product? The only states you have to think about sales tax for are the states you are shipping products to. For example, if you are shipping products from Texas to Arizona, then you collect sales tax for Arizona at the Arizona rate. If you ship products from Texas to Texas, then you collect sales tax for Texas at the Texas rate. If I have no sales, do I still have to file sales tax? Yes, if you have nexus in the state. Just put 0 for your sales amount when you file. How often do I have to file for my sales tax? Well, it depends on the state and also on your revenue. For most states, it's monthly or quarterly. I'll show you how to get our US sales tax cheat sheet at the end of this video so you can see the filing periods for every single state. How often do I have to report sales tax? Only in the states where you have nexus and as often as those states require. For most, it is every month or every quarter. Will collecting sales tax hurt my sales? No. Customers across the US are already accustomed to paying sales tax for purchases. Now, sure, there's always a few out there who will hunt for a no tax deal, but that number is dwindling fast and you do not want to build your online brand on that kind of customer. Always looking for shortcuts and cheap deals. Go premium. Do I have to pay sales tax when I purchase inventory? No. Inventory is a business expense, so it not only should be tax-free, but you are entitled to a tax deduction for every business expense you incur. Does Amazon require that I collect sales tax? You are the owner of your business, not Amazon. So you are responsible for registering your business and filing with any states where you have nexus. But for almost all states that require sales tax, Amazon will collect sales tax whether you like it or not. What does destination versus origin-based mean? Destination-based means you collect sales tax at the tax rate of the location the product is received. Location-based means you collect sales tax at the tax rate of the location the product is shipped from. 39 of the 50 states are destination-based. But for remote sellers, 9 states switch from origin to destination-based, leaving only 2 states that are entirely origin-based for remote online sellers. And those 2 are Arizona and New Mexico. California is actually both, but depending on the situation. Does it matter if the state I'm shipping to is origin or destination-based? Only when you ship a product to a customer in the same state from which the product was shipped and that state is origin-based. For example, if your product ships from a warehouse in Albuquerque, New Mexico to a customer in Santa Fe, New Mexico, do you collect sales tax at the Albuquerque rate or the Santa Fe rate? Well, because New Mexico is origin-based, you collect sales tax at the Albuquerque rate because that is where your product is shipped from. Now, if hypothetically New Mexico was destination-based, then you would collect sales tax at the Santa Fe rate since Santa Fe is the place where your product is shipped to. Keep in mind, for Walmart, Jet, Etsy, Amazon, they take care of those rates for you. Just make sure you're set up correctly to get it done. Why does sales tax have to be so confusing? Well, I'll speak for the US. Americans like their independence, and this is never better reflected than in the limited but ever-present sovereignty of each state. It really is an American ideal. However, this is why we created Amazon FBA Mastery. It is 5 courses. It is unlimited, unending access. Over 200 training videos, 2 to 3 hours of coaching every single week. If you become part of our team, we will do everything we can to show you how to build your Amazon business legitimately so you can make money, and that creates freedom so that someday you can live like no one else. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe below, and I do have a question for you. What question do you have about sales tax that we can answer below for you? Please keep in mind, I'm not a CPA, I'm not a tax attorney, so do not take this as legal advice. I'm simply sharing the stuff I've learned. Our CPA team is the same one that does Robert Kiyosaki's taxes, just to give you perspective. But make sure you double check this with a CPA or tax attorney. Also, to get the US sales tax cheat sheet, there's a link below in the description. It is only $17 and it is yours. You have an awesome day.